Continuing in terms of the terminologies in code and zoning regulations. I'm going to give this lecture and also at the same time show you some of the items that are shown in the book, because these are the areas which you come across, and the meanings of it all depends on these descriptions of various terminologies. So for you to understand it, you need to know what these terminologies mean. Graphically, in construction, wood stud or wood joist is shown in this manner. And if I look at it in a three-dimensional way, it is shown in this way. So this becomes a wood stud. When you see it, this is on the plan view, this is on a 3D view. So if I get a wood stud that is established center to center, 16-inch OC, then that means that I have the stud right next to this, and there is a base plate, which typically is a wood construction, and this dimension from here to here is 16 inches. When you see this terminology like this, and then you see a layer and a layer like this, depending on what this material is. This can be a gypsum board, and typically the gypsum board, if I enlarge the detail, is shown like this. If it is a plywood, it's typically shown like this, and stucco is also shown very much similar, except you have the screed and the wiring behind it is shown like this. So this would be the gypsum board, plywood, or particle board, and this will be plaster. If you turn into page such as page 112 on your textbook, or page 111, you will see some of these terminologies, except they are shown in sections. Or if you actually go to page 114, you will see those shown in the same manner as we are showing them on the diagram that you see. The metal stud construction, typically the metal stud is shown like this. And when it is installed, basically it is installed the same manner as the wood stud are, 16-inch on center. So that would be for the metal studs. When you're looking at steel columns or beams, you're looking at, this can be the column, and the symbol is shown in this manner. The beam is shown in this manner. So this would be typically like a column, and this would be a beam. And when you're looking at these things, if you look at them in a three-dimensional way, this is the way the cross-section is shown. So this is where you see the cross-section of the steel beam. And the same thing happens when you look at the column. The column is shown in this manner. So this would be the column, this would be the beam, and that's how you see them. If you see elements such as this around the beam, that means that this is the fireproofing. And the same happens if it is shown around it. This is a material that is done pneumatically, which means it's basically sprayed on. Around the beam to protect it from fire, spray on fireproofing. To protect from fire. And depending on if this is 1 inch, you get 1 hour of protection. If it is 1/7/8, you get 2 hours of protection. You see that type of diagrams on page 115. And that's how it is shown. If you move on to page 117, you will see the spray-on fireproofing. And you also, instead of sometimes using the spray-on fireproofing, you utilize gypsum board to wrap the building. So you wrap the column. So that's the diagram that you see in the middle. Typically, the sizing for wood, steel, and concrete is as follows. If you have a piece that is called a 2x6, the real dimension is 1.5 by 5.5. So it's 1/2 inch less. If it is a 2x4, that means it is 1.5 by 3.5. On metal stud, it doesn't make difference. Typically, the metal studs are 1.25 to 1.5 inch, and then this dimension changes from 358, 3.5, 4, 5, 6. You have 258, 2.5. You have 158, 1.5, etc. And that would be the dimensions for the studs. For the steel beams, typically the steel beams are noted with W, and there is a number 14, let's say by 22. 14 is rounding up this dimension, which is really the depth. This one is pound per linear foot. So if you have a beam that is 36 by 400, that means it is 36 inch deep and 400 pound per linear foot. We'll pick this up in the next lecture also.